Okay, so this is the NordicTrack T Series 5 treadmill. Now, about almost 4.5 years ago, I had NordicTrack T Series 6.5 treadmill, which I got like for $450 or something, because there was a deal. And just 2 or 3 days ago, it kind of stopped working, and the problem was the motor board. So I now purchased this one instead, and I removed that one. This one also I got a very good deal. So I'm going to show you a complete video of setting this up, how to assemble this whole thing, detailed instructions that you should also be able to set it up and build it yourself just by watching the video. So you can see it's very nicely packed. So now let me open this and show all the parts. If you notice here, these are the unpacking instructions. Essentially remove these things, remove the top part, and then remove all of these things that are guarding it, and then remove the base, and then you can separate the bottom part. So you can look at this instruction, but I'm going to show you all of those. So I'm going to first remove all of this thing and show it to you how to assemble the whole treadmill after that. Okay, so as soon as you remove the yellow tape, you can just remove the whole cover like this, which makes it really easy to remove. Next, all you have to do is essentially pick up all of this stuff. These are essentially going to be the handles of the treadmill. So you have to lift these handles up and keep them on separate. So that's what we are going to do. We are going to lift this whole white and black thing out of here. And so that we can start removing the base. Okay, so after I separated this out, the first thing that you essentially look at is this screw. So we are going to separate this out. These are all the screws, and we are going to use this to start making treadmill. But first thing is obviously removing this base out. Now you can essentially start by removing all of these wooden panels and everything and just cutting on the side so that you can shift it. Okay, so you can see what I have done. I have essentially moved it in the place where it's much easier. So essentially the wires are in the front here, where I want to connect it to some of the plugs here. So I want it placed like this. And now I'm just going to, and I open it from one side. So I can remove the treadmill from the box and move it in the location here to the right hand side, and slowly remove and take away the box completely. So I want the base to be separate so that I can then start assembling the whole thing. So that's what I've essentially opened it on one side. Now you can also open it from all the sides. And that would essentially give you some advantage, because then you might be able to lift it from the back and try to move it. But for my case, I think it's just easier. I'm going to do it this way and just move this base out of the box. Okay, so I was essentially able to move this whole treadmill out of this. I didn't have to open it from all the sides. And one thing to note is this box here at the bottom of the treadmill. This also has parts in it, so be careful not to throw it away accidentally. But now we have essentially separated all the big parts, and now we are going to start unwrapping the base, the deck, and removing all the stuff connected, like protection connected to the side, so that we can start to assemble the treadmill. And we're also going to unpack all the things that we are seeing here. Okay, so you can see I've removed all the plastic cover and everything. Now all I have to essentially remove is this wooden blocks here. These are just blocks for protection. They are not really needed in terms of actually, needed for anything. They are just for protection. So just remove them. They are just protection during traveling. So we are going to remove, and also remove all the plastic, and also, all the plastic and everything. We are going to remove it next. Okay, so I have removed all the plastic. Next, if you notice, it says packaging, remove and discard. So we need to use the screw, these here, to remove this, and remove this thing and throw it away. So this is just for packaging, and you are supposed to remove and discard it. Okay, so along with this thing, on the back of this is essentially this manual on how to assemble this whole thing, and there's also details about the iFIT. Right, you don't need this item because I'm going to show you detailed instructions, but just wanted to give you a heads up. Now from here I have essentially removed this big one. Right, I have removed it, and next I'm going to put this here like this. Wait a second. Yep, here like this, on one side, the bigger side, and this is tightened, so I'm going to loosen it. Right, I hope you saw it. and just loosen. I'm using it with one hand, so it's difficult, but it's actually very easy. Right, and essentially remove it. We are going to remove it both from these two screws here, and also the two screws on this side, the other side. So both the sides. Let me remove this and show it to you. Okay, so you can see I removed the plastic from both the legs here, and I want you to notice something, right? We removed this part, but from the legs here, you notice there is this black colored thread on this side as well as on this side, and they are present on the right leg. So if you notice, this one here says left leg and this one says right leg, and on the right leg you have this thread on both the sides. You will need this to thread the wire in through the leg. So you have to be very careful that you do not remove it right now. You are going to use this for the assembly. Okay, now on the right hand side, right, the right leg, and on the right hand side, if you notice, there is this clip here on this side. You have to actually watch here, and you want to essentially, and this clip holds a wire, and you want this wire to be threaded up through the whole leg. So first you are going to remove this zip tie to separate the thing. Right, now this thing is separated. I don't need this zip tie, and this is the actual wire. This is, and you want to essentially just, you know, remove this plastic covering from it. Yep, thank you. Okay, I'm just trying to remove this thing here. We don't need this. Yeah, and this we are going to thread through the wire. So this is what is going to use. We are going to use that using those black threads on the right leg. So you want to be especially careful with this thing. To place the right leg like this, and next you see this thing screw here. You want to start untying this thing. So we are going to untie this thread here. I have untied the thread. Next, if you notice this black clip here that is provided, it has a hole in it. And what you want to do is you want to, like you would put it in a needle, right? You want to put this thread inside this hole here and then lock it in. So what that means is, like here, make a loop so it doesn't come out. And now what essentially has happened is, if you notice here, I'm not sure if you can see it from the video, but essentially I have put the thread in and then looped it around. So now it is like tied up, like it's now this thing is now hanging from this black thread. And now what we are going to do is, we are going to remove this thing here on the other side. Okay, yeah, just one second. We are going to now remove this thing here on the other side. You are seeing here. Yeah. And the only purpose of this thing is to essentially pull it, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this inside from here, and I'm going to start pulling it from here. So okay, now this is actually very complicated. So I'll have to show you from close here. So if you notice, this hole is small and this is big, right? But the wire goes through the small hole. So what you want is very complex. You want to essentially put this from inside the big hole and then shift it to the right hand side a bit. Okay, let me, put it from here, then shift it from the right hand side, and then now you need to start pushing it from the right hand side. So essentially, because what essentially happens is there is like a leg here, a sort of a leg here, right? And what happens is like a screw in between. Notice the way I am doing it. Yep, now it went inside. So put it from this side and then try to shift it on this other side and try to push it in. And now from this side here, right, you want to first of all keep it very close to the leg here so that you get maneuverability. Now you see it gets stuck here, so I'm going to straighten it. And I'm also pushing it from inside here, right? So I'm doing all of these things. You might want to just jiggle it. So you have to essentially jiggle a lot. Okay. Okay, I'm just pulling this a little bit. And you might want to just maybe shift it around here like this. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to keep it a little bit closer, and I'm going to just push this in a bit. And I have gotten this cable out here from this side here. So something like this. If you notice here, this cable, and now what you want to do is you want to just tie the cable in here, so it doesn't go down. So I'm going to just tie it in, right? Essentially what I did was I have essentially gotten the wire, put the wire from inside and removed it from inside, and throughout the hand to do some maneuverability and then pull it from this leg here. But I was able to eventually accomplish this task. And now I just want to make sure that I don't have to do this again. So I want to just guard it. So I'm just going to, just lock this inside using this thread here, so that it doesn't go down. Now what you are supposed to do is you are supposed to clip this thing in. So I want to notice something, right? On one side there is this, slightly popped out edge here, right? And this edge is supposed to go into this central section here. So that you make sure that you don't make a mistake, they have this special edge. So the edge side will be here in the center, and this flat side will be on this side. So hopefully you can maybe see this in the video here, right? Okay. Okay, here, right? Notice this edge side is on the middle and this flat side is here. Okay. It takes a little bit of time, but you'll eventually be able to do this. Yeah, and you notice this got clicked in. So yeah, it was a little bit of tough time, but hopefully you are able to achieve it. Yep, and I have also pulled it from this side here. So yeah. Now I want you to notice this screw here, this silver screw here. You want to remove this screw completely, and you are supposed to discard this screw. So unscrew this thing. You are going to use a different screw here. So you are supposed to unscrew this. In this whole thing here, you are supposed to remove this screw number 68. So I'm going to essentially just remove this screw 68 from behind here, like this. And this is the screw that is actually going to be used. So next, okay, I want you to notice here, this green wire that we had, right? What you want to do is you are supposed to connect this green wire to this thing here, right? And try to make it such that this green wire maybe goes inside here. So yeah, something like this. You want to essentially just put this screw in here like this, and then in this hole here, the one that from which we removed the screw, right? You want to use the screwdriver and put this inside here using the screwdriver. So it will go in like this. I'm going to show you. You can see how I'm doing it with the finger, and next I'm going to use the screwdriver to tighten it. Now this thing is connected to this frame here. Okay. Now we are supposed to remove these 3 rings number 21 here, 2 small screws number 19 from here, and 1 big screw number 20 from here. I'm going to show you for the left leg first, and then I'm going to show you for the left leg first, and then the right, because the left is a bit difficult. So my suggestion is to do the right first, because there is no wire here, and once you get a little bit of experience, it's just much easier to do the right. what you want to do is in these 3 screws, you want to put the 3 rings here. You can see I put the ring in this big screw, and the remaining 2 screw rings I have put it on the smaller screws. Okay. And I want you to notice something, right? This leg will essentially get connected in this part from which we removed the wood. And the way it's supposed to happen is, notice these 2 numbers, small 19 screws, they are supposed to go in these 2 holes, and the number 20 big screw is supposed to go in this big hole, right? So the big one in the middle and the small ones on the side. Okay, so now I'm going to connect this and show it to you over here. Okay, so I want you to notice this, right? This is the left leg. So we are going to skip the right for now. We are going to first do the right to the left, and I am going to notice this. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to place it here like this, right? And now, as I mentioned before, the big screw here, the small screw here, and the other small screw here, and then you need to tighten it. This thing here, right? Even though I put it here, I can actually move up and down here. So what I want you to do is, I want you to align it so that these screws go in the hole easily. Notice how when I moved it a little bit and it was aligned properly, this went inside this hole easily. And same on the other side here also. Align it so that the screw goes inside much easier. So notice now I can actually, here from here you can see here. Notice how I can, even using my fingers, I can put it in because it is aligned properly. And now here, notice how. Okay, so I want you to note something, right? Do not tighten it. You want to put it in, I would say about 80% in, but don't start to tighten it. And the reason is, once you put the upper bar here, you want some maneuverability so that you can connect it. We are going to come back later and tighten it. So for now, just put it in about 80%, right? Let me show it to you. You can see I'm putting it in. And now I'm leaving a small gap here, small gap. You can see how it is able to move in both the direction. Notice this thing. I still want this. I don't want to tighten it. If you tighten it now, we'll have to go back and loosen it. Even this here, right? I'm putting it in, but it is still very loose. And I'm going to show that to you. Loose. So what that means is this is connected, but not tight. Right? And I'm going to show you what the advantage of this is in a second. So to make sure that you know it, it should move like this. As you are good. Obviously don't push it a lot right now because it's like not connected tightly, but it's going to really help us in the next step. Okay, next what we are going to do is we are once again removing the screw, the number 21 screw here and the 2 screws from here. Same as what we did for the left leg, we are going to go and do it for the right leg. So the same screws, and we are going to do for the same procedure, not tighten it but keep it 80% tight on the other leg as well. And obviously once again we are going to remove these 3 rings. Put 1 ring in each of the screws, right? And we are going to do this, right? This time we are going to connect the arm with the wire on the other side. So I'm going to go, I have put the ring in all the 3 screws from this top part here, and I'm going to go and connect the wire. Okay, so I'm now starting it. I'm lifting this thing here. Okay, yep, here it is. Yeah, and now same as previously, right? Notice how it moves up and down. So you need to use this to make sure that the screw goes in properly, and it is like rotating. Okay, it's not rotating properly. It means that, okay, it has went inside a little bit. Yep, it has gone inside. And notice it might not be obvious, but I'm moving it a little bit, you know, so that, you know, it essentially, you know, I can put the screw in. So make sure that it's aligned, the holes are aligned. The other screw is also going in easily, right? And now the big one. Okay, I'm going to use that screwdriver to tighten it up a little bit more. Same on this side here also. You can see it is still moving on both the sides. I want it to be loose for the next step. We are going to come back and tighten it. Obviously, don't move it too much because obviously it's loose. And you see this black clip here, you're also going to remove it later. So this black part is actually not needed. But I don't want to lose anything, so I'm going to leave it for a little bit for a few minutes. And then I'm going to remove it and then connect the white plug directly. And once again, I want you to know both the hands are moving easily. Now I have not tightened the screws, only tightened up to, I would say 80%. It was not difficult once I aligned it up, like, you know, jiggled it a little bit to make sure that the screws go in. The screws are actually well threaded. It's just that if you do not place it properly, the holes might not be aligned. So you might want to move it little bit, you know, like this little bit, like here on one hand, and then try to put the screws in. Once you do that, then it screws go in much easier. So it's not a threading issue, but more like alignment issue that you need to do carefully. Okay, next we are going to start removing stuff from this box here. So obviously you don't, I mentioned this previously, but you don't want to remove that stuff, don't want to lose this box here. Okay, and now this also, I'm going to remove it. We are going to use this part for the next step, and so I'm going to remove this part first here, like this, right? Now let's watch this here. I'm now turning it around a little bit. Obviously I kept on this thing. Now I want you to notice this. You see this white part here? This white part is essentially going to get connected to this white part here. So I'm going to remove this black clip, put this thing in and connect the white clip with the white clip. Okay, now in this next step, having a table or somebody else would be very much nicer. But essentially, what you want to do is you want to remove the black clip. But as soon as you remove the black clip, you want to don't make sure that this white thing doesn't go in accidentally in. And then you want to connect this wire. So I'm going to do it. I have removed this here. Right? Okay, and this thing goes in here like this. You can see how it got clicked in. Right? Now, you want to make sure that it is really clicked in. Which it is. I know that because I can feel it, I can hear the click as well when I put it in. So it's okay if this goes in a little bit, right? And now you want to essentially just, you know, remove this black part here and just throw this whole thing away. So essentially, you can also cut it over and remove this thing and then place it. Okay, now I'm essentially holding this, but I want you to see this here, right? Step number 6. You want 4 of these screws and the 4 of these rings here. So 4 screws which says number 19 and 4 of these rings which says number 22. So you want to essentially remove this. Okay, so I'm essentially holding it like this here. And notice that I'm doing is I'm taking one of the rings that I mentioned and one of the screws. And what I'm going to do is I want to just lift it a little bit here and put it from the bottom here and start plugging it in like this. Put it in little bit. Another screw. I'm going to take another screw here, put the ring in, right? And notice, I want to notice something, right? This ring have a curved shape. Curved shape. And the reason for this is because this thing is also curved, right? So this will essentially get placed like this. So if you place it like this, it won't go in properly. If you notice here, there is like a gap here. But if you place it like this, then there is no gap. So because this is a curved ring, so you do want to make sure that, you know, eventually you want to Make sure this is aligned properly, the ring. Okay. So what I want you to do is, I want you to notice this here is, okay, this is a little bit loose, which is what I wanted. And yeah. And I'm going to connect this inside this hole here, like this a little bit. So the reason I did little bit is so that I could put both and I have maneuverability. Right, now I'm going to fix this ring here properly and tighten it. And no, don't tighten, I'm just using my fingers, right? So it's not tight. It's just connected. Yep, and notice this part is connected. Now I'm still holding it because the other side is not connected. I'm going to do the same thing here. I just put the two other rings in this screw here. Right? And I'm going to go to the other side and do exactly the same thing. Okay, I'm holding this with both hands. I'm never losing it because if it will fall down and this whole thing will break. Okay, so now here, same as before, right? Put the one screw, lift it, align it a little bit, and then start putting the screw inside the hole. Okay. Yep, now it is going in because it was not aligned properly, so it not went in. Little bit, not completely, I would say about 20% in. And next I'm going to connect this hole here. So yeah, very close to connecting the lot of this part here. Yeah, and next, so we have essentially connected almost all the stuff, right, on both the sides. So now, because we have connected all the 4 screws, now it's the time to tighten it. It was much easier because this was flexible, because this was moving. Because if you tighten the screw at the bottom, this would have been very rigid and it would have been very difficult for us to, connect. So you can see I'm doing here. I'm going to start tightening it, all the 4 screws here, right? Yep. And make sure the ring is placed properly so that there is no gap, right? I would say put 90% all the 4 screws and then come back and put it 100% in. And then we are going to eventually tighten the bottom, which I'm going to show you next. Remember the screws that we have left loose at the bottom here? We are going to tighten all of them, the 3 here and 3 on the other side. So all the 6 screws that were now loose are going to be tightened now, because technically everything is set up. I mean, not everything, there's still stuff remaining, but now we can set it up because this thing is connected. So you can only tighten it enough so that this thing, it doesn't make it difficult for your life, more difficult to to put this thing. If you had tightened it before, then connecting this might have become difficult because it would have been stuck in one position. And if the length or if the width was not proper, then it would have been very difficult to put these screws. So I'm going to now start connecting these screws here. You're seeing here, tightening it. Tighten all of the 6 screws, 3 on this side and 3 on the other side. You can see how much is still going easily. Yeah, same on the other side as well. Next, you want to essentially open this box and start removing all the stuff. Okay, now you can see these 3 things come out. This is to put your tablet, and these are the leg covers where you have put the screws in. Hopefully, once you have tightened the screws, if you notice here, I'm going to first take the left ear, and now let's look at this. Now is the time to start putting the cover. Very simple, right? Notice this base should touch the base here, like this, and then, okay, 1 second, and that's it. We are going to do the same thing on the other side and just connect these legs. And these are very easily removable as well, if you notice here. So it's almost like preventing, to make sure the screw is not. Now it's very easy because now I've done it at one time, but screw is not visible. That's all its purpose. This is more decorative. Same I'm going to do on the other side, on the right hand side as well. Next we are going to connect the tablet after that. Next, on the front of the treadmill, we are just going to remove these 2 screws completely. Yeah, this screw, and also remove this screw. right? Same, I'm also going to remove this screw. Okay, so essentially what you want to do is you want to just connect it and make sure the soft part, the one part that you want to connect to the tablet, is in the front facing, right? So connected this one, connecting this one here. Yep, now I can put my tablet, which I'm also going to show it to you. Like how I can use my tablet connected to this. First we are going to remove the wire here. So you see this wire here, we are now going to connect it. I'm going to remove this zip tie and connect it to the power. Obviously I'm doing it for the first time, so I'm going to make sure that nobody is standing on the treadmill when I do it. Connected the wire to the surge protector, and this is where the switch is here. You can see currently it's on the off. I'm going to put it on the reset, right? But if you notice, nothing shows up, right? We do want to remove this sticker, but yeah. But first we need to remove this here to start it. So I'm going to remove this part here, this thing, and this essentially, so the treadmill stops when you are essentially, running on it. It's almost like a protective guard of sort. So we are going to remove this thing first. Yep, this thing is ready here, and let me just remove this here. I'm not standing on it, so it's okay, but if you're normally standing here, yep, I'm going to press this button here, and you notice the power is on. Here you can see the number 0000. If I turn it off, the numbers go away because there is power, right? Connected, and that power is turned on. Right now I'm not standing on the treadmill. Now I want you to notice something here. The length on both the sides should be the same. If it is not, you can essentially put like a screw holder, or like this thing that they have provided here. This thing they have provided here, and you can essentially move the screw. Whichever side you tighten, the belt will move on the other side. Let's say if you tighten it this way, the belt will move this side. Tighten it this way, the belt will move that side. And you might want to tighten or loosen it, really depending on how is it working. So yeah. So now that we have everything set up, you can see this is where it is. This is where you are going to put the, I would say the all the stuff, like you have anything, it's turned on. So now let me turn up the speed here. Speed. I'm pressing start. You can see it is moving. I can essentially increase the speed here. Okay. I moved it to 3. This is 3 miles per hour. And this is the noise you can hear when it's going at 3 miles per hour. And you are going to tie this to your clothes, right? So if you notice, it's turned off because as soon as I pulled it off, it will turn off. And it's turned on again, right? I'm going to press this. Now let's do a little bit of, let's start. It is moving, right? Now I'm going to do incline. I'm going to do incline 3. I'm not sure if you can see, but it is moving up. It is moving up incline to the height of 3. Right? Next one. Next, incline 6. It's now inclining up. Right? So it's like almost like, if you are using some kind of an app, like, there are like a lot of apps which essentially allow you to do this stuff. You can do exercise and stuff like that. Quit now. So on stop button, it stops. Obviously, you want to register the product, right? I'm going to make the incline down and then it's to 0. It moves 0.5 every time. And obviously register your product so that you get all the warranty. In my previous one, I essentially pressed a lot here, which you don't want to do. You want to put your hands here a little bit. You're holding your hand, and so that you don't apply product, it crashes down. But they did provide me with the new stuff here. But eventually the circuit board went bad after 4 years, for NordicTrack T 6.5S, and it was like just $200, just to get a new circuit board. And I had to debug and install everything myself. So I decided I don't want all of this. I used it for 4 years a lot. So, I have used it the way I wanted it. So I decided to switch to this one now. Okay, I'm going to start now. Okay, this set to like some giving me time and stuff like that. Right? With 3 speed, I'm used to 5 speed. So, but obviously it's a new treadmill, so I'm going to get used to this thing. Okay? So, yeah. Take a second. If my tablet doesn't fall down, you can just pull this rubber eraser here. I'm putting my tablet like this, and then I'm going to guard it, right? Now essentially what has happened is, this clip is essentially protecting my tablet. Let's say even if I'm running or something, and even if you have a small phone or something, you don't have to worry too much. You can use this to control the height, because these are basically elastic. So yeah, that's how you keep a tablet and watch whatever, or you exercise app or whatever you watch, TV show, whatever you are going to watch, just watch it. And yeah.